AAC block, the first course is the leveling course, has to be laid in a Type S or Type M mortar. And as you can see in the corners, we have O block. And of course, the only reason for the O block in the corners is to keep the mud from rolling out of the end of the block. And you lay the block down, you level it up, plumb it up, use a mallet level. Well, in this case, the mallet's his fist. Then you do the head and the bed joints out of thin bed mortar, and every course after will be laid in thin bed. Here's a C or notch block, and you see he doesn't have to pick it up because of the notch in the end. And what happens is you just fill those cells with grout, and that's based on the engineering for the seismic and for the wind conditions, and that'll all be figured out. These happen to be number 7 rebar, and here again, this is just basic mortar that bricklayers use, the Type S or Type M mortar. Alright folks, here we're mixing thin bed mortar. Just take a 5-gallon bucket, water, mixing paddle on a 1/2-inch drill, and take your mortar, make sure it's the thin bed mortar, and you mix a bag at a time. You can't let it sit too long. You need to use it up within the first hour or so. And you mix it up for 5 minutes, let it sit 5 minutes, and then mix it another 5. After that, don't ever add water or don't ever thin it down again. Just throw it away. And you'll just mix it again, as you can see with the mixing paddle. You want the texture to be similar to drywall mud. After the first course is laid in the Type S mortar, then you do a full head joint and bed joint of thin bed. It's about 1/4 inch thick with the scoop trowels, and when you lay the block in, and by the time you get it into position, that 1/4 inch goes down to about 1/8. Just level your block up, pull a string line to make sure you're straight on the outside. Here we're laying block in these are going to be beam pockets for bar joists. In this video, we're going to show you how to bore holes for the vertical rebar that's required in all projects. And what we'll do is we take a template and just line it up over the hole wherever the spacing of the vertical cells will be, and we screw that in. As you can see, we'll screw that into the AAC with just regular cabinet screws, and then we have an electric boring drill that will bore a 4-inch hole. We have a diamond blade on that, so it'll cut through the rebar cages inside the boring machine. Add water to it just to keep the blade cool and whatnot, make it go smoother. And you can see in a matter of, 1.5 minutes or so, we can bore a 4-inch hole right through an AAC panel. Very easy. In this video, we're pumping grout into the vertical cells of AAC. And this grout comes from the concrete company. It's depending upon what the engineer requires. It's either 3, 4, maybe even 5,000 psi grout. You want to slump something in the 9 vicinity, and you just fill every one of the cells up with grout. And this is the same grout we'll use in the U block that we use for the bond beams as well. So the vertical and the horizontal cells get filled with this particular grout.